So imagine this. A former prime minister, locked away in prison, is now facing the very real possibility of permanently losing his sight. It's a shocking story that's come to light, all thanks to a viral vlog from journalist Imran Khan. Today, we're going to break down everything he reported, the urgent health crisis, the really serious accusations of criminal negligence, and the huge political firestorm this has just ignited.
We have to start right here with this incredibly raw description. This isn't just some minor complaint. The source describes a level of pain that is almost impossible to imagine, and it really sets the stage for the medical emergency at the very heart of the story.
So what in the world is actually going on? While the source material goes into detail about a severe medical condition that reportedly came up while Imran Khan was in prison, with symptoms that were allegedly just ignored for months. Okay, so let's get into the specifics of what was happening, according to the vlog. We're not just talking about a bit of discomfort here. This was a whole cascade of symptoms. Intense, unbearable pain, his eye constantly watering, and his vision just blurring and getting worse and worse. And the real kicker? The source says that basic stuff, like eye drops, they did absolutely nothing. That right there tells you this was something way more serious. All right, let's look at how this medical emergency is explained, because this wasn't just some common infection. The blog describes a very specific and incredibly time-sensitive diagnosis that needed immediate specialized help. The source claims the root problem is a blood-related issue, which leads to something they call an ocular pressure crisis. Now, what does that mean? Basically, blood is said to be building up, creating a blockage right inside the eye, and that blockage causes a really dangerous spike in pressure, which leads to that intense pain and, most critically, starts to destroy the eye's ability to see. And this number right here is what changes everything. According to the specialists cited in the report, this is not a condition you can just sit on and wait. There is a critical window, just 2 to 3 days to start treatment if you want to prevent permanent, irreversible blindness. 48 to 72 hours. That's it. And the treatment itself is a very precise, multi-step process. It kicks off with an injection directly into the eye to try and relieve that pressure. But that's just step one. After that, there's a mandatory 28-day waiting period. And then a second injection is absolutely crucial to keep the treatment going. Okay, this is the point where the story takes a sharp turn, from a purely medical issue to a full-blown political scandal. The central accusation in the vlog is that this incredibly time-sensitive condition was met with deliberate and devastating inaction. And this timeline, wow, it really lays out the core of the whole accusation. For 3 solid months, Khan was apparently telling the jail authorities about the pain and his failing eyesight. Now remember that 72-hour window we just talked about? Well, instead of that, it took 90 days before he got that first injection on January 24th. The gap between what was needed and what actually happened is it's absolutely staggering. That critical medical timeline was just completely blown past.
The journalist Imran Khan, he does not mince words. He frames this not as some simple mistake or an oversight, but as a criminal act. The claim is that a prisoner, no matter who they are, reported a serious medical emergency and was just willfully ignored.
So you have to ask, why the delay? Well, the vlog puts forward a pretty clear political motive. It alleges that getting him the treatment he needed would have meant moving Imran Khan out of the high-security prison. And this was seen as a security and political risk that the authorities were just not willing to take, even if it meant costing him his eyesight. As you can probably guess, an accusation this serious has triggered a massive reaction, not just from the public, but deep within the political world, both inside Pakistan and well beyond its borders. So, after that 3-month delay, what was the result? Well, the reported outcome is bleak. The vlog claims only 15% of the vision in his affected eye was restored. And the specialist is quoted as saying, "This is next to nothing." It basically means you might be able to see a shape in front of you, but you can't see it clearly, and you certainly can't read. The source also points out this really painful contrast. You've got international media, even an Indian cricket commentator, speaking out about this. But then, the report notes the stark silence from many prominent Pakistani cricketers, guys who rose to fame when Imran Khan was their captain. And now, the political fallout is just escalating like crazy.
There's pressure coming from inside Khan's own family, aimed at his party's leadership. There are plans for major protests being announced, and on top of all that, there's this deep suspicion that the government might try to spin any necessary medical care as some kind of shady, backroom political deal.
So this all brings us to right now, to the immediate and very uncertain future, where you have a non-negotiable medical deadline on a collision course with a really tense political standoff. And the clock is ticking, loudly. Remember that 28-day treatment cycle? Well, based on the vlog's timeline, the deadline for that all-important second injection is just days away. And the specialist cited in the report says that date, it isn't flexible by more than a day or two, tops. The journalist gives this context to help explain the political background here. The vlog claims that Khan has been offered all sorts of deals to get his freedom, everything from leaving politics to leaving the country entirely. And he has reportedly refused every single one, insisting only on his basic legal and human rights. Now, drawing from his own traumatic experience of being a victim of a forced disappearance, the journalist offers this personal piece of advice directly to Imran Khan. You have to prioritize your health. He argues that the political fight is a long one, and to win it, a leader first has to be physically strong.
So when you strip everything else away, this whole situation really boils down to one fundamental question, one that's way bigger than any single person or political party. It forces us to ask, right? When a state holds someone in its custody, and it doesn't matter if they're a former prime minister or an ordinary citizen, where does the political conflict end and the non-negotiable duty of care begin? And honestly, that's a question with no easy answer.